Welcome back everybody, High Tech Lab here. I want to start this video off by saying this was a perfectly good cell sent to me by Big Battery, and I took it apart completely for experimental purposes. You'll notice it bulges a little bit in this video, and that's because I blatantly abused this cell, discharging it down to 0 volts in order to make sure that there's no energy left in it so it's safe for me to take apart. Under normal operating circumstances, it should never be in this kind of condition, and you should never have the kind of issues such as bulging like I show here in this video. If you take a look, the voltage on my fluke meter is dropping. It's at 3.66 volts right now, and that's because I have it connected onto this dump load that I was showing you guys how to build in the previous video. So as you can see, with this battery down around 3 volts, it's bulged a little bit and the frame is buckling slightly. So you can get these cells from bigbattery.com. There's a link in the description, and if you use my promotion code, you can get another 10% off and get these for as cheap as $45. So I've got it completely disconnected here from the load. It is quite a bit bulged, and if you look here on the end, it's flexing. It's really not happy. And I brought this down completely to 0 volts. I mean, it's really starting to open up. So why not help it open up the rest of the way? So I have a pair of pliers here. These are actually some sort of cutter. I don't know the technical name, but they're Craftsman and they're awesome. And I'm going to use this to just grab the seam and pry up. And at this point, I'm going to stop and actually get some gloves and goggles on. So now that I've got proper safety gear, I'm going to go ahead and continue opening this. I'm actually going to try using a pair of tin snips here. Now if you were to try something crazy like this, which I definitely don't recommend, you definitely want to be careful because this is sheet metal and I'm using tin snips and pliers and stuff, and it really can leave a sharp edge that can cut you pretty easy, even with gloves on. So these gloves are actually cut proof to better help with that. And I'm being careful to try and not touch any of these sharp bits. Now as you can clearly see, this thing has bulged quite a bit and it's popping open at every chance it can get. So I'm definitely being careful to make sure on the last cut I'm standing clear of anything that can go flying. So here is the moment we've all been waiting for, to see what is inside. And it appears to have a sheet that is kind of like a glue of some sort. And I'll be completely honest, it smells like a brand new iPhone, that kind of battery smell. I'm sure that's the lithium inside. And as you can see, it looks like a giant plastic bag kind of pouch deal. And that's actually the technology they use in these cells. They are called pouch cells, and you can see that here. And unfortunately, there's double-sided tape between all these cells, and that's not allowing me to pull them out of this pack very easily. I'm actually going to be better off cutting down these 4 corners with my tin snips and flattening them out, and also cutting a relief cut here at this end. So then, as soon as I cut that, I can bend these flanges down and take away the structural integrity and really start to get this pulled apart. And finally, I'm left with just the innards of this battery. And as you can see, there are 4 individual pouches kind of just glued together, it appears. And it looks like on this end, they're all tied together electrically in this plastic sort of enclosure. So there is one single little clip right here. I'm going to try and pop that out and see if I can remove this part that is holding all of these cells together and break this apart into individual cells. So I have an 1/8 inch flathead here, and I can pry up on this plastic insulating looking piece. And this is slightly dangerous because I don't know what's under the plastic, and I am poking at it with a conductive screwdriver. And I just went ahead and broke the plastic. That's the easiest way to get it removed. And now with that removed, you can see all of the bus bars that tie these packs together. So now I can use a pair of electrical scissors, and these are pretty strong. And I have little thin metal tabs here on these pouches that I'm going to go ahead and very carefully cut with these scissors. And I just want to reiterate the fact that I fully discharged this cell before I recorded this, so it should be pretty safe in case anything touches together. Now with those severed, I can actually unstick this first pouch from this cell. So now I have one of the pouches separated, and I really don't feel like playing with a bunch of chemicals and stuff inside of here, but as you can see, it really is flexible and really looks like a Ziploc bag full of stuff. I was almost not going to open this up because of the safety aspect, but actually there isn't lithium in here, which is dangerous. There's actually just lithium ions, and that's in an electrolyte suspension. So this isn't as dangerous as you might think originally, but I still have good gloves that aren't going to let this stuff get on my skin, and I'm still going to do this in a safe area, as well as I have a 5-gallon bucket of water on the ground that I can put things in case anything goes wrong. This has been shorted out overnight, so there's no energy left in it, so it can't start a fire. So without further ado, let's get into this cell. So this appears to just be a bunch of laminations, and I originally would have thought this would have been wet, but it appears to be quite dry actually, and the conductors are really quite thin. I just tore through quite a few of them. So let's put it this way, against my better judgment, I decided to open up that battery, but as we all know, curiosity killed the cat. It made quite a pungent smell throughout our whole shop, so I pretty much put that in a bucket of water and put it outside, and it's still sitting out there bubbling. So unfortunately, I'm not going to show you guys too much of what's in that battery. So essentially what was in that battery was a bunch of plates laminated together, and it wasn't all that interesting, but you saw a little bit of it. So again, sadly, due to the smell, we decided it was enough. We're going to call it quits. I still have 3 more of these pouch cells that I can take apart at a later date somewhere out where there's much better ventilation. So I do have 3 of these pouches left out of this module that I can play with at a later date. But that's going to wrap it up for this video. But these cells are quite robust, how much abuse I put them through without having any sort of fire or other issues. It wasn't until I completely discharged them and shorted them out that they started bulging a bit. But yeah, if you enjoyed today's video, be sure to leave a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button if you aren't already, and other than that, leave your comments down below, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching.